Adeyemi finds Shaparenko. He's got space to drive into to strike. He drives past the defender. He's going to strike. Shaparenko to Jacob Ramsey. Sinisterra. Season 2 has begun. Welcome back, everyone, to my FIFA 23 career mode with Leeds United Football Club. And we're going to get started straight away with some huge transfer news and business. As you can see, we've got a current budget of 77 mil. That has been massively helped with some outgoings that I've made just before this episode started. And as you can see, those outgoings are Liam Cooper has left the club. He's gone to Wolfsburg for 4.5 mil. Patrick Bamford, the major one, he's gone to Real Betis for 17.5. And Rodrigo, he's left Wolves as well for 7 mil. It's kind of annoying because I can't show you the transfer history. I don't know why. So I'm having to show you obviously on my messages. So unfortunately you can't see the specific prices, but those were the prices I did sell them for. And I've also got Stuart Dallas on the transfer list as well. So I'm waiting to see if I can get any offers for him. And I've also got quite a lot of youth players that have also gone out on loan for the foreseeable future as well. And also Luke Ayling has gone. He's gone on a free transfer to Celta Vigo as his contract was up at the end of the last season. So all of those transfers have left quite a lot of holes in my squad with not too much money to be able to try and fix them. So I've got Gelhardt as the only recognised striker at the club, so I definitely need to bring in a striker. I had hoped to prioritise a central defensive midfielder, but I do have Tyler Adams and Roca, and I've now only got Jacob Ramsey and Fagioli in central midfield, so I'm definitely going to have to try and bring someone in there. In central defence, I've got Lorente, Struijk and Koch. No one else though, so I am going to have to bring in a central defender, and I am going to be looking for one who does have a little bit of pace as well, as I did struggle with through balls in Season 1. And I'm also looking for a backup right back, as I've only now got Christensen at the club. So a right back, a centre back, a central midfielder and a striker as well. So a lot of work to be done with not too big of a transfer budget. And speaking of transfers, as we head over to my shortlist, you will see I have an absolute shed load of players in my shortlisted options. You can see I've got right backs, I've got centre backs, I can't scroll quick enough, I've got central midfielders, central defensive midfielders, I've got wingers and I've got strikers as well. So I'm not going to bore you with all the details, I'm not going to go through every single one here, but what I will do is I'm going to go through them myself, and then I'm going to tell you who I'm going to plan to add to my squad for this upcoming season. But just before I do that, let's have a quick look at some of the objectives that the board want me to hit this season. Youth development, pretty much the same as last season. Brand exposure, they want 5 clean sheets, and they want me to sign 1 crucial first team player in a striker position. With all the positions I'm going to have to try and buy, I think that's going to be quite a difficult one for me to do. Obviously no continental success. As for domestic success, they want me to qualify for the Europa League and get to the last round, get to the round of 16 in the FA Cup, and then sell 2 and sign 2 crucial players to replace them. So I think the financials are going to be quite difficult, but in terms of domestic success, I 100% agree with the board. I am aiming for European football this year, whether it's Europa League or Europa Conference League, I do not know. I definitely think the Champions League is going to be way out of reach, but Europa League or Europa Conference League, that has to be the absolute minimum expectation this season. And here we go then. You can see the very first signing of Season 2 is Adeyemi from Borussia Dortmund, a big signing, a striker who I'm bringing in for just over 27 mil. It was about 27.9 mil, as you can see there on the screen, in from Borussia Dortmund. It's pretty much a like-for-like replacement for Patrick Bamford, but he's younger, he's quicker, and he's got a much higher ceiling as well. So really, really happy with the first signing of this new season. And the next man to come in, as you can see, is Pierre Kalulu from Fulham, coming in at centre-back. He will definitely start ahead of Llorente. He will partner Struijk at the heart of our defence. 79 rated, ended up getting him for just over 25.5 mil from Fulham. He's got pace to burn, and as I said, he's rated just ahead of Llorente, and he's got lots of potential as well. Second signing through the door, and it's another one I am delighted with. And as you can see, Shaparenko is transfer number 3, a creative central midfielder rated 79, and he comes in for just over 25 mil. Again, another transfer I am really, really happy about. He's better than anything we currently have in central midfield, and he has massive, massive potential to grow as well. So third transfer through the door, and it's a third transfer I am delighted with. And as you will see, in spite of me being able to sell Poveda and Stuart Dallas as well for a combined 7 mil, unfortunately, with all of those three signings, I now only have £701,000 left to spend in my budget. So I'm going to have to try and get it right back in with only 700 grand. So I'm probably going to look to see if I can get one in on loan, but I probably will leave that until towards the end of the transfer window to see whether or not any other options open up and if I can get any more sales out the door. But it's enough talk about transfers, as we are going to head on to our first of 4 games actually in this episode, as we do have a cup game against Fulham, which I'll probably end up simming. But we're going to play our first game against Norwich. Also going to play away against Everton, and we're going to finish off the episode with a home game against Aston Villa. So, as I said, enough of the talk. Let's get straight on down to business. And so it's on to the first game of Season 2, first game of this episode. And it is a home game at Elland Road against a newly promoted Norwich team. And as you can see from our starting 11, of course, we go to 4-3-3. And the big change at the back is Kalulu will make his debut. Shaparenko as well will make his debut in midfield. And Adeyemi will also make his debut up front in place of Gerhard. Gerhard, unfortunate to drop to the bench, but I feel now is the time to give the new starters a start in our first Premier League game. And as for Norwich, they line up 4-1-4-1. So it looks like quite a defensive formation for the newly promoted team. And to be fair, I actually forgot to look at what other two teams got promoted. So I'll have to do that after this episode. But this is definitely a game that we really, if we want to be competing towards the top end of the Premier League, and if we want to start trying to make our way up into the European spots, this is definitely a game that we need to stamp our authority on and get a good result. Rocker picks it up in midfield. He's obviously in for the injured Tyler Adams, who unfortunately is still injured. Sinistera almost there early doors inside this first half. Rocker's going to turn away though and strike from distance. In this weather and in the sun, I think I've messed up a little bit, as I forgot to make any changes to the kits. So I am struggling to see who I'm supposed to be passing to. And that is pretty evident there, as I end up giving the ball away pretty cheaply. He's got the on-running Adeyemi into space. He's got pace to burst into. I'm going to have to try and turn because I don't think I've got too many options in the box though. And eventually, we end up losing the ball. Kalulu. Oh, that is a wonderful ball through to Dan James. And Sinistera's at the back post if he can find him. He does find him straight at Krul in the 42nd minute. It has to be said, it's been a pretty quiet game so far. But Kalulu, our centre-back, on his debut, driving down this right-hand side, ends up giving it to Christensen. He puts it in the box. There's no one there once again to get his head on it, but this time Kalulu can get his head on it. Jacob Ramsey picks it up into Dan James, who finds himself in the centre. I'm going to strike with Dan James! And it's a great save from Tim Krul. I have no idea who that is. Can't pronounce his name at all. It's Broja. Into Nunez again. Into Sara. Back to Broja. Straight into the arms of Meslier. Broja. Struijk is there though. Struijk is there once again. It's a good challenge from him. Jacob Ramsey. Into Adeyemi. Adeyemi finds Shaparenko. He's got space to drive into to strike! And it's a good save again from Tim Krul. Jacob Ramsey. Oh, nice twist and turn from him. Into Dan James. Lovely stuff. Flicks it onto his left. Straight at the goalkeeper again. Oh, nice ball into the feet of Broja. He does lovely work there to get ahead of Struijk. Drives into the penalty area. Doesn't have too many options. Ends up going back. Oh, and Meslier forced into a big save there. It's the first big chance of Norwich had. Norwich playing some really nice football on the edge of my box. Nunez back in field. Broja with the power shot. Unfortunately, Kalulu is there to block it. Rocker looks for Shaparenko, finds him. He's got options out wide. He finds Christensen. Christensen to throw this in. Sinistera at the back post. And it's a great goal. It's the first goal of this new season. And it's Sinistera, the winger, who gets it. He's been pretty quiet all game, it must be said. But Shaparenko with a lovely ball out wide to Christensen. And he whipped that one across the box. Adeyemi wasn't there for it, but Sinistera was. It's into the back of the net, and it's 1-0. And now we can break here. Shaparenko, lovely turn away from the defender. I'm just looking for the right ball, and I found the right ball into Rocker. Rocker for 2, and it's straight at Krul once again. Passes that down the line to Jacob Ramsey, and that is that. Game over here at Elland Road. It's the first game of the season, and it's a first win of the season. 3 points in the bag, 2-0 here. And it's well deserved. And it's on to game number 2 of this episode, and it is away at Goodison Park against Everton. And as you can see from my starting 11, from the performance against Norwich, I couldn't possibly make any changes. So it is the same starting 11 as the one that started against Norwich. As for Everton, they've gone 3 at the back with 2 wing-backs, it looks like. 4 in midfield and 1 up front. So it looks like Antoine Griezmann, my word, they've brought him in. How on earth? I don't know whether or not they've got him on a transfer or they've got him on a loan. I don't know. But he will start up front. So huge signing for Everton there. What a signing. Unbelievable stuff from them. But apart from that, their team is pretty average. So again, this is a team that I think we can definitely get a result from. Rakitic into Griezmann. Griezmann out wide to De Frutos. Gets it back from him. And then he gives it back to De Frutos. And now he's got space and grass to run into on the right-hand side. Tries to throw that one in, but Roca is there once again. He's had a great start to this season so far. Shaparenko looks for Jacob Ramsey. Jacob Ramsey now goes down the right-hand side. That's a great ball across to Dan James. He goes across to Adeyemi, and somehow it's been bundled home for Adeyemi's first goal for Leeds United Football Club. It's not the goal that he probably would have wanted to score, but he scored it nonetheless. It's a great goal. And we will take a 1-goal lead here at Goodison Park after some great work from Jacob Ramsey. What a ball across to Dan James. Dan James fired it across the penalty area. And when you hit it with that much power, it just cannoned off of Adeyemi past the goalkeeper. It's 1-0. Jacob Ramsey driving forward. He drives past the defender. He's going to strike. And it's a big save from the goalkeeper. Jacob Ramsey starting this season off on absolute fire. Well, it's out for Jacob Ramsey, but he gives it to Dan James, who floats it back in. No one on the end of it. Adeyemi picks it up. He gives it to Kalulu. He's trying to find an angle. Finds Shaparenko, who strikes it straight against the defender. Griezmann looks for João Mario out wide. Don't know where on earth Lucanets is. Sinisterra's trying to track back. Kalulu, what defensive work from him. Otherwise, Griezmann was there to knock that one in to make it 1-1. But Griezmann picks it up again. Tries to drive into the box. Straight at Meslier. Big chance for Everton. Everton have a corner here. Thought they were going to go short. They didn't. And in the end, oh, can we get it away? We just can get it away from Roca. Great stuff from Roca there. Griezmann, again, so close to an equaliser. And it's only for last-ditch defending. And just as I say it was last-ditch defending, Griezmann does go and get the equaliser for Everton. It's 1-1 here. And it's a great finish from Griezmann, it must be said. Everton have been knocking on the door, and finally they're able to knock it down. They get the equaliser, and it's 1-1 here. He's got Decore running ahead of him. Decore's away from Kalulu, and it's a wasted shot in the end from Decore. He's going to look for Shaparenko in field, finds him. He finds Roca, almost found him, but fortunately for us, he manages to pick it up again. Jacob Ramsey into Sinisterra. He is hacked down. How on earth that wasn't a foul, I don't know. But we play on. Jacob Ramsey throws it into the box and we don't get anything from it in the end. Nice stuff here from Leeds United. Sinisterra whips that one in. I thought I was going to be able to get that to Adeyemi, but annoyingly I couldn't. Everton on the counter-attack now. Griezmann with lots of pace, but lays it off to Dwight McNeil, who has even more pace. He puts it across to De Frutos. He turns to give it to Decore. Nice little flick back. Everton playing some good football. And it's a great save from Meslier. A big save. Jacob Ramsey into Gerhard. Nice work from him. Out to the substitute Junior Firpo. And there's way too much on that cross. And in the end, Everton do get it clear, but we pick it back up with Coke. He gives it to Gerhard. Gerhard strikes on the edge of the box. And it's another big save from the Everton goalkeeper. Lays it into the path of Gerhard. Gerhard tries to find Coke. He does find him. And it's just against the defender. But Dan James picks it up. Tries to turn. And it's good defending in the end. And once again, Everton get it clear to Jacob Ramsey. He finds Gerhard. Gerhard finds Shaparenko. Shaparenko, he's got options across. And I was trying to find Jacob Ramsey. And the defender just got a foot on it. Frutos on the right-hand side. This looks like it's going to be the last chance of the game. It's Griezmann into Rakitic. He turns Kalulu, drives into the penalty area, plays it across to McNeil. And it's Everton 2, Leeds 1. They get a goal right at the death after we had a huge opportunity at the other end. I said it was end-to-end. And Everton have absolutely gone and done us right at the end of the game. We were caught out of the back post and Dwight McNeil is easily able to slot home past the goalkeeper. And it's a really, really tough one to take. And that is that for the end of the game. That is a really, really tough one to take. Everton, in the last dying second of stoppage time, get the win with the last kick of the game. and we throw it away after we had a massive opportunity right down the other end in stoppage time as well. It finishes here at Goodison Park. Everton 2, Leeds 1. And it's on to game number 3, and this is the first game that we've got in the Carabao Cup. And it's going to be a tricky game at home against Fulham. As you can see from my team, I have gone full rotation, the likes of Firpo Llorente, Coke, and also you can see Dromet at right back, as I don't have any other right backs at the club. So I am playing one of my youth players, as well as Jenkins, with Tyler Adams unfortunately still out injured. Fagioli, Aronson come in central midfield, Harrison, Gelhard and Popescu, the attacking three. And I'm hoping I can get a decent result here against Fulham, but let's see what we get as we sim this game, and it ends up being 1-1 and Fulham win on penalty. So annoyingly, we are out of the Carabao Cup. That is a big blow early doors. On to the final game of this episode, and it is another home game, this time against Aston Villa. 4-3-3 it is, of course, for us, and as you can see, I have actually kept the same starting 11 that started the two other Premier League games. In spite of that loss against Everton, I just couldn't really see who could make their way into the team, especially as we did also lose against Fulham in midweek. As for Aston Villa, you can see they've also gone 4-3-3. And it looks like Gabriel, I think, is that the Gabriel from Arsenal? Not quite sure. Maybe they've brought him in this summer, I don't know. But that's a pretty decisive and pretty potent front three that they've got there. So I definitely think there's going to be some goals in this game. And then finds Jacob Ramsey. He finds Adeyemi. Can he find Jacob Ramsey again? No, he can't. It's cleared away. Not that far, though. Rocker picks it back up. He turns, just trying to get it onto the right foot. Danny Ings looks for Dendoncker. Back to Danny Ings. Aston Villa playing some really nice stuff. Coutinho now on the left-hand side. Christensen, good interception. Into Jacob Ramsey. Nice one-touch passing from us. That is a wonderful ball through to Sinisterra. He's got Dan James on the right-hand side. And we just can't get it across to him. He turns. Nice little turn away from Christensen. Now drives into space on this left-hand side. Tries to cut back inside. Lovely footwork from him. Oh, that's wonderful footwork. And eventually, Aston Villa still keep the ball. And they strike straight at Meslier. And it looks like there's a runner on the right-hand side. But he chooses to go back to Danny Ings. Danny Ings now finds Majuki. Back to Ings. And Kalulu is there. But he gets hacked down inside the penalty area. And it's high and wide from Aston Villa. Plays that into the feet of Shaparenko. He's got Dan James in acres of space on this right-hand side. I'm looking for Adeyemi. Find him. It's in. It's one. And it's Adeyemi with his second for Leeds United. We take the lead here at Ellen Road. It's 1-0 and it's a wonderfully worked goal. Oh, nice pass from Struijk into Jacob Ramsey. Jacob Ramsey, neat little turn away from the Aston Villa defender. Drives forward. And Adeyemi was so close. My word, what was Martinez doing there? Majuki picks this one up, goes past Sinisterra, lays it off to Coutinho. He goes past Christensen, gets it back from Ings to Struijk. Coutinho's going to take this corner. He goes into the penalty spot. Meslier with a massive save after a great header there. Gabriel into the feet of Danny Ings, but Kalulu is there. Some great forward-thinking defending from him. Shaparenko into Adeyemi, lays it off to Rocker. Can he find Jacob Ramsey? He can! And it's into the back of the net from Jacob Ramsey. It's a well-deserved goal for Leeds United. And it's a well-deserved goal this season for Jacob Ramsey. He's been absolutely fantastic in the opening 3 games. And he powers that past the goalkeeper to give us a 2-goal cushion here at Ellen Road. It's 2-0. Some great work from Adeyemi after some great forward-thinking defending from Kalulu. And Jacob Ramsey powers it past the goalkeeper. It's 2-0. He tries to drive past Kalulu, but no way of getting past him there. He shuts the door and he releases Dan James on the right-hand side. Dan James plays in Shaparenko. Shaparenko to Jacob Ramsey. Sinisterra. Oh, the opportunity was there. He took way too long with it. Dan James, though, lays it back off to Christensen this time. Floats it in, and it's easy in the end for Martinez. Big chance goes begging there. Christensen goes back in field to Rocker. Rocker looking for Ramsey, finds him. Ramsey finds the ball to Adeyemi. Straight against the defender. Jacob Ramsey tries to turn. He can't do it. Can Sinisterra get there? He can. Jacob Ramsey lays it off to Rocker. We're just trying to find an angle here. Dan James now into Christensen. Christensen floats it across. And we just can't. We almost get our head to it. We do. But it doesn't matter. We win the game 2-0. It's a solid victory. Aston Villa didn't really have too many chances. And I feel we kind of dominated the game. Finishes 2-0 here at Ellen Road, and it's another 3 points in the bag. And just before we end this episode, you can see we are at transfer deadline day, and the madness has already started. The likes of Immobile going from Lazio to Chelsea, and Tomori going from AC Milan to Manchester United. As for us though, I have managed to sell off a few more of my fringe players, the likes of Roberts, Creswell, Shackleton, to raise a little bit more money. However, it has only left me with 12 million, and the types of right backs that I was looking for were kind of all about 20 mil plus. So I have had a look at some transfer listed options, but there isn't really too much there. So drum roll please, I will show you who I'm about to try and buy. And as you can see, the person I did try to buy in the end, the person I did end up buying was Matt Doherty from Spurs. Not the glamour signing that I was hoping for, but I needed a good squad player, just as FIFA says, and he's rated 77 or 78, I think actually he's rated, and managed to get him for 4.3 mils. He was transfer listed, so the board seemed very happy with it. I'm pretty happy with it in the grand scheme of things, so yeah, final piece of business for us this transfer window. All in, I think it's been a pretty successful one. And as for some of the other signings for the teams in this season, you can see Liverpool have brought in Odegaard for 99.9 mil. That is a massive amount to spend on Odegaard. Jude Bellingham goes to Juventus for 88.8. Tomori obviously going to United. Spurs as well, spending 86.3. Lukaku going to Atletico Madrid for 65.8. And then some other major signings as well happening as well. Tammy Abraham, going to Seville for 57 mil. Konate going to Crystal Palace. Wow, Crystal Palace spending big. That is a massive signing for them. Gonzalez going to Spurs for 51.8. So some massive signings as well. Thiago going to Roma. Kimpembe going to Chelsea. So huge signings. And Liverpool also more signings. Varane going to Leipzig. So yeah, big signings across the board. And I was right, it was Gabriel did go to Aston Villa. But for us, we make 4 big signings. Adeyemi comes in up top, Kalulu in defence, Shaparenko in midfield, and Matt Doherty completes our 4 signings as a backup right back. As I said, overall, pretty happy with the business we have done this episode. And that is that for the end of this episode. I'm just going to quickly head over to the standings so you can have a look, and you'll see we sit in 5th. So after 3 games, 2 wins, and we end up in 5th position. You can see Manchester United in 3rd, Crystal Palace in 4th. It's a great start from them. Southampton 6th, Everton 7th. Manchester City atop, Chelsea in 2nd as well. Arsenal all the way down in 9th. Liverpool 10th, Spurs in 12th. So shocking start for those 3 teams. Norwich, Preston and Stoke. So Preston, Norwich and Stoke, 3 teams that have come up. And so far, they're looking like the 3 teams that are going to go down. But as for us, we sit in 5th after 3 games. It's been a really positive start. I think we probably could have got more for Everton. A bit disappointing to give it away right at the end, but we still sit 5th. So overall, it has been a pretty decent episode. And just to check out the calendar for the next episode, we've got 3 games, Chelsea, Fulham and Bournemouth to play. So huge game against Chelsea and well, 2 big games against Fulham and against Bournemouth as well. But that is that for the end of this episode. If you have enjoyed it, please feel free to like and subscribe. It will do the channel an absolute world of good. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.